Hello everyone. Today in this video tutorial I am going to take a look over a new sensor that is ADS1100. Now to get a better view regarding this sensor, what we have to do is to log in to the website that is controleverything.com, and here we have to search on for this sensor and let's see what we got here. It's ADS1100 and here you can see it's a 16-bit one channel analog to digital converter, and also you can have some view over some of the features which are clearly visible on this very screen. And the plus point is there you can purchase this sensor from this website from here. Now I will be interfacing this sensor ADS1100 with a Raspberry Pi and a Java code. And to get the Java code, let's have a look over the resource tab, and here we go, we have the Java code sample. You can click over it and after that you can download as zip file from here. Also, you can have the privilege to download this code from github.com, and the repository there is Control Everything Community. Now, what do we require is to have a look over the hardware connections we need to set up for this video. Let's have it. Well, in the hardware setup for the connections, what do we require is this Raspberry Pi, which you are able to see on my screen, and these are the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi. Next, we require an I2C shield, which you can see, and it's available on the website controleverything.com. The real reason we are using this shield is to make easier connections with other I2C devices. So for that, gently place the I2C shield over the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi and make a connection. Next, we need to power up our Raspberry Pi, and for that we require a micro USB cable just like that, and gently insert it over here, the power jack. And for the internet connection, there are two options. First of all, this here is an Ethernet cable or a LAN cable. Now gently insert it over this Ethernet jack and you are done with the connections part. Now for the other internet connection, we can also have a adapter, a wireless nano USB adapter just like that, and you can have on the USB port. The next thing we require is our sensor, that is ADS1100. Now this here is a connecting cable. Now this connecting cable is very useful in making connection with the sensor and the I2C shield, and making this connection, make sure that the ground terminal of the sensor should be connected to the brown wire of the cable, and similarly to the I2C shield just like that. As we are done with all the connection setup, what do we require next is to have a look over the code. Now for the interfacing part, the first thing we require is to have a login, look over github.com, and after that we have to search for the repository that is Control Everything Community, and after that we have to search for the sensor that is ADS1100, and here comes the Java code. But before that, let's have a look over the Java code instructions, and it says that we have to download and install Pi4j library on the Raspberry Pi, and the steps to install are provided on this link, pi4j.com. And let's have a look over this link. You can see the relevant information regarding the instructions you need to follow. And after that, this is the command to compile the Java code, and this is the run to run the Java code. Please note it down carefully. And after that, get back to the Java code, and it's a .java extension file. As you notice, we have imported some of the libraries, and we have created a public class named ADS1100. And in this part, as you can see, we have bus.get device, which will check whether the address of the device that is present is 0x48. And after that, we are coming to the writing section, where we are going to select configuration register, and we are sending the command for continuous conversion mode, that is 8SPS1PGA, and we are writing the command as 0x0C. Then we have to read 2 bytes of the data, as you can see, raw, ADC, MSB, and LSB. And here comes the conversion of the data, which is according to the instructions provided in the data sheet for ADS1100. At the very end of our code, we have the output data to be displayed onto the screen, which is the digital output of analog input, and it's a raw value. So for that, we require some working condition, and let's have it. Now let's have a look over the working environment, and in this part, first of all, we have to copy this entire code of Java, and we have to open up the terminal of the Raspberry Pi using an internet connection, and then we have to create a new file ads1100.java, which is the extension, and here we have to paste the entire code we have just copied, and then we have to save it. Now for the compilation process, as you can see on my screen, we have this file, and this is the command for the compilation, the code is being compiled. It's done. Now this is the command to run the Java code, and let's see what we got here. As you can see, we have the digital output of analog input. It's almost near to zero because there is no connection among the sensor terminals. But when I bring a AA battery of 1.5 volt and connect it to the terminals, and when I run the command, we can have the values of digital output of analog input. When I run again the command, you can see the values is almost constant because the battery is connected on to the ends of the terminal for the sensor. So this is how the sensor responds. Now the next step is to have a look over the applications and the benefits along with the features. So let's have a look over that also. The ADS 1100 is a precision, continuously self-calibrating analog to digital converter with differential inputs and up to 16-bit of resolution. The ADS 1100 uses an I2C compatible serial interface and operates from a single power supply ranging from 2.7 volt to 5.5 volt. ADS 1100 is designed for applications like portable instrumentation, industrial process control, smart transmitters, factory automation, and a lot more to mention. Well, you can have this sensor and you can purchase it from controleverything.com, and you can get the code from resource tab. From this site, you can download the code as zip file. Also, you can get the code from github.com, and the repository there is Control Everything Community. In the end, I would like to make it clear that if you have any doubts regarding any part of this sensor or video, you can have your queries on controleverything.com, and you can post your comments on the community page on this website. For articles and blogs, you can have a look over on instructables.com, and to subscribe more video tutorials like this, you can have a look over our YouTube channel. In the end, I hope you enjoyed this video and had a good one yourself. Thanks a lot for watching.